Hey, Orchinistas! Welcome to the channel Forever Orchids. My name is Tracy, and I am so glad that you joined me today in the middle of winter. Is it cold where you are? It's so far doing, I think, fairly well where I'm at. We've only had a few week or so that's been really cold. And I think today is supposed to be in the 50s, I think. So it's not too bad. And the sun is shining. So that's always an exciting time for me when the sun is shining. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, you didn't come here to talk about the weather. No. Let's talk about the Catasetinae Alliance. And since this is the middle of winter in the northern hemisphere, most of your catasetums, your cenotes, and your mormotes have already finished blooming. But this is Clowesia. That species, and those hybrids like Rebecca Northern and Grace Dunn are blooming. They've either just finished blooming or they are in bloom now, like this one here. This is a first bloom seedling that I got from Fred Clark when he visited the local Orchid Society show late last year. And I'm just tickled to death. I've got 2 spikes. There's a total of 20 flowers, and they are very cup-like. I thought maybe they would open up a little bit more. First bloom seedlings always can sometimes come out really wonky and crazy, but as the plants mature, then the blooms will have a tendency to be larger and show really their full potential. Right now, the seedling here, these flowers are measuring, probably about 20 millimeters wide, 18 to 20. So still relatively, I think, small. And I'm going to definitely put up some close-up pictures of this particular of the flowers. Now, it has 3 pseudobulbs, 2 little small ones here, and this is the largest one that has matured to produce the first blooms. And I want to talk a little bit too about the Catasetinae Alliance and some of the things that you should be doing this time of year. Now, most of them have already got yellowing leaves, brown leaves, or the leaves have totally fallen off. And that marks a dormancy period for the plant. Dormancy generally occurs naturally. However, if we are growing indoors or under lights, this genre of orchids needs a little encouragement to drop those leaves and go in that dormant period. Now, one way that we can do this is to try managing our watering frequency. And what I mean by that is you could try watering, just a couple of ounces every 5 to 6 days. Then the next watering after that 6-day period, couple of ounces, but this time wait 7 to 8 days, maybe 10 days. So by lengthening the dry interval and less water, the plant will take a hint and it will go into dormancy. Now, by late January, early February, we definitely want our plants to be in a rest period, in that dormancy. And no watering, cease watering at that time. The roots are going to die, and that's okay. Some people will unpot their plants at this time and just hold on to the dry pseudobulbs. And the first sign of new growth, they can be repotted, and you really don't want to start watering right away. You want to wait until that new growth gets to a certain length. When our plants are definitely in dormancy by late January, early February, we're going to be able to give them an ample dry rest period before they wake up for the spring, and you'll have a longer growing season so that you can mature those bulbs, get them larger, and get more flowers the next flowering season. Now, one of the things that when you're growing under lights, you're going to need to adjust the day length throughout the year. And you really need to do this for the majority of orchids, they will benefit by adjusting your grow light day length. Fred Clark of SVO recommends the following schedule for growing your orchids under lights, growing these Catasetinae. April to October, the day length should be set at 15 hours. In November, reduce the light schedule to 14 hours. In December, reduce 1 more hour to 13. In January, reduce by 1 hour to 12 hours. Then starting in February, you can start adding day lengths, go to 13 hours. In March, add 1 more hour to make a total of 14 hours. In April to October, back to the day length schedule of 15 hours. If you've had trouble overwintering your Catasetinae Alliance plants, there's a little trick that Fred Clark has mentioned in several of his newsletters that I thought I would share with you. He takes the plant and he sits it in a glass of water, a glass that you want to make sure it's sealed all the way around here. So just make sure that the plant pot that it's in fits snugly down in the mouth of the glass container that you're going to use. Have water in the bottom, and actually the humidity of the water down in here will wick up into the plant and create some humidity for this pseudobulb here. And there seems to be quite a few people that have had a lot of success with this. I'm definitely going to try this. The pseudobulb itself is shriveled. It's relatively, as far as I know, okay. The back bulbs are still nice and firm, but I do know that I'm having a terrible time this winter with the humidity in my main growing space. I have some hygrometers, and when, let's see here, a couple weeks ago in January, when I was busy with some family emergencies and I was not able to keep the 3 humidifiers that I have in the grow space here full of water, the humidity got down to at least 17% or below. One of my hygrometers, it's not digital, it was reading 0. Oh, I freaked out. But I'm just having a really hard time. So I think I'm going to try this now for this particular plant and see what happens. When your orchids wake up in early spring, don't water them. Wait for the Catasetinae Alliance orchids to have at least roots that are 3 to 6 inches long and pseudobulbs that are anywhere from 6 to 12 inches tall before you start watering. Now, these naturally grow in an area that during their growing period, it's like a monsoon, lots and lots of water. So you'll definitely want to increase your watering frequency during active growth on these plants. Now, let's see, the other thing I was going to mention was that in the active growth, when they start, it may start off a little slow, but it will ramp up growth, and as soon as day length increases. So you just be patient, but just keep an eye on when you first start seeing signs of new growth, don't water. Don't water. It's really best to wait until that growth gets some length on it before you water. Now, we've mentioned already about growing these indoors under lights and the light intervals. Now, these particular plants love, love, love sunlight. Not direct sun. Orchids don't like direct sun. They can get sunburned. These orchids enjoy high light, 2,500 to 3,000 foot candles. Now, they do also like a 10 to 15 degree drop in temperature at night. In the summertime indoors, that's a little bit difficult because we pretty much keep the air conditioner on and we keep your temperature constant. So keep an eye on your plants. I think for the summer in some states, you could definitely put these outside in some brighter light. Also, I cannot wait until Fred Clark in February, and I think he does it in July as well, at Sunset Valley Orchids, will release their new list of orchids for sale for 2024. Cannot wait. I've already got one on my wish list. So stay tuned to the channel. There might be an orchid haul coming up very soon. Until next time, guys, happy orchid growing.